Ian O'Gorman was an ordinary 11-year-old in Oceanside, California, who loved playing baseball and basketball and riding his bike with his friends. In 1994, all that changed when the boy came down with cancer. He had to undergo surgery and then the long process of chemotherapy. As many know all too well, one of the common side effects of this unpleasant treatment is the loss of one's hair. When all his beautiful locks began falling out in clumps, Ian just had it shaved off. Not an easy thing for anyone, but most especially a fifth grader who at that age just wants to fit in and not be made fun of for being different in any way. The little boy was scared. Who wouldn't be? To the rescue came his classmate, 10-year-old Kyle, who, with a sensitivity that many adults would do well to emulate, called together the other members of the class and said, "Look, the last thing Ian would want is not to fit in, to be made fun of. Let's make him feel better and not left out. Let's all get our heads shaved, just like Ian." So they all went to the barber shop together and sacrificed their hair so that nobody would be able to tell who was sick and who was well. It was an amazing show of solidarity. Their teacher was moved to tears when he saw them all come in bald-headed, and he too headed straight for the barber shop and got his own head shaved. The teacher was so proud of his students, whom he called his little bald eagles, and he gave the class lessons on cancer cells, different kinds of cancer, and chemotherapy. Ian's illness turned out to be the most valuable lesson the class received, the lesson of solidarity, the lesson of acceptance, the lesson of embracing differences and making ourselves one with those who are different. I wish the adult world could learn those same lessons from these young people. A few years ago, a Colorado grade school refused to allow a student into the class after she shaved her head in solidarity with another little girl, an 11-year-old schoolmate undergoing chemo. It can be so difficult for so-called adults to comprehend solidarity, to embrace diversity, to allow themselves to love without boundaries. Every day we hear of mosques, churches, or synagogues being burned, people being murdered, whole ethnic groups being wiped out, all because people cannot get over their fear of the stranger, their fear of differences. And how often do we see this destructive intolerance performed in the name of religion, any religion? The theologian Küng got it right when he said, "There will be no peace on earth until there is peace among the world religions." False patriotism, too, can so easily become a cover for hatred of the outsider. How much slaughter has been justified, and how many consciences have been silenced by frighteningly immoral slogans such as, "My country, right or wrong." We don't have to go back to Hitler's Reich. We don't have to go back to the My Lai massacre to encounter this horrific mentality. It is a common human mindset, not limited to any place or any generation. It stems from the fear of the stranger and the desire to annihilate all that is different. The love of one's country is a splendid thing, says the great Catalan cellist Pablo Casals. But why should love stop at the border? Why indeed? We like to have everything nice and neat and uniform. We feel comfortable when everyone is just like us, looking like us, thinking like us, believing like us, voting like us. It disturbs us greatly to encounter someone different, someone who does not belong, someone of another faith, another race, another language, a sheep of another flock. One of the most fascinating, shocking statements of our Lord, and one which has been a stumbling block for religious bigots for the past 2 millennia, is what we hear him say today. I have other sheep that do not belong to this fold. What, we might say? You mean we are not the only ones? No, you're not, he replies with a smile. There are others I am also leading. They hear my voice too, in a different way. They may belong to different folds, but all belong to one flock. All have one shepherd. This is an astounding statement, a revolutionary revelation. We are not the only ones. Our way is not the only way. People have tried to ignore this explosive declaration or tried to whitewash it in various ways simply because they have not been able to come to terms with the core truth that it is okay to be different. That being outside a particular fold or a particular mold does not put us outside the much greater flock of God. If this truth had ever been grasped, no heretic would ever have been burned, no witches hunted, no inquisition established, no censorship imposed, no books burned, no ancient civilizations destroyed, no genocides, conquistas, crusades, or wars fought, and history's many holocausts, from the Hebrew Holocaust of the Canaanites to the Nazi Holocaust of the Hebrews, would be confined to the pages of fiction and horror novels. There would be no ISIS, no settlements, no walls of separation, no fear-filled peace under nuclear threat. There would be no unending cycle of terror and counter-terror. There would be no Catholic Irish and Protestant Irish killing each other, no Hutus and Tutsis killing each other, no Israelis and Palestinians killing each other, no human beings killing each other. There would be no xenophobia, gynophobia, homophobia, or human phobia of any kind. If this truth had ever been grasped. But it has not. Not by the self-righteous, narrow-minded, fear-fueled world of adults. For the grasp of this truth, we must turn to the young, the very young, and embrace their spirit of embracing, their solidarity with the stranger, their spirit of, I am Malala, I am Charlie, I am that little girl with cancer, I am that little boy who is different, I am that one who is laughed at, that one who is marginalized, that one who is hated, that one who is turned away. I am the Jew at Auschwitz, the Palestinian in Jerusalem, the Christian, the Yazidi, the Shia in Mosul. I am the man dying on the cross. I am the weeping women and the beloved young man at the foot of the cross. I am the other sheep of another fold. And I too hear the voice of my shepherd, no less than they, no less than you. The comforting voice of the gentle shepherd, calling me to love who I am, calling me to embrace who you are, calling me, calling you, calling us home.